in baby oil, put on a sweatshirt, long underwear, then you're good to go. Oh yeah, one other thing. He says don't forget the Vaseline behind your ears and under your nose. Chip?
I think Craig's got it all covered, doesn't he?
The only thing he was missing was mittens.
Yes. But everything you noticed was very color coordinated for Craig Sager tonight, so great job as always, Craig. Looking forward to checking in with you a little later on tonight. Here are the starting lineups, as always, brought to you by our friends at Budweiser. For the Dodgers, Rafael Furcal leads off with Ronnie Belliard batting and playing second. Andre Ethier hits third. He's in right field. Manny Ramirez is the cleanup man. He'll be in left. Matt Kemp's in center field. James Loney, the first baseman, bats sixth. Casey Blake seventh over at third base. Russell Martin behind the plate. And Hiroki Kuroda will pitch. And he will bat ninth. Dodgers in the regular season were 45-36 on the road. They won 95 games all season long against 67 losses and take on a man that's got a Cy Young Award in his trophy case. That's Cliff Lee.
Well, the key for Cliff Lee is tempo. He loves to work quickly. The Dodger hitters will try to counter that by stepping out and trying to slow the game down.
Scouting report for Cliff Lee. He's got all the pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, cutter, and a change. He creates a great downhill angle, and that's significant because the hitters only see the top half of the ball. Because he works so quickly, he keeps the infielders engaged. They always anticipate the ball being put into play. That's important tonight. And Ron, your point about the Dodgers trying to slow Cliff Lee down is a significant one. They are going to try to disrupt his timing early in this game.
And as we've talked about all night, the big story is the weather. A much different night for baseball than we saw the first two games in Los Angeles. And Ronnie, you pitched in cold weather. What are the special challenges that Kuroda and Lee have to contend with in Game 3 tonight?
I think getting enough warmth and enough on your fingers to feel like you can have a nice touch of the baseball. I think the advantage here, though, is for Lee. Almost the exact same weather in his last start in Colorado. So he's already done it once and performed well in that weather.
And here's how Phillies will line up defensively tonight for Game 3 of the set.
Phillies have committed 4 errors this postseason. In the outfield, it's Ibanez, Victorino, and Jason Worth. Good speed, strong arms. Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley up the middles. Pedro Feliz, Ryan Howard at the corners. And Carlos Ruiz has done a terrific job handling his pitching staff, especially the starting pitchers early in this series.
So they're ready to rock and roll here at Citizens Bank Park. Game 3 of the series. Phillies and Dodgers tied at a game apiece, and Rafael Furcal will lead things off. Furcal just 1 for 7 so far in this series. He does have a run batted in. And he bunts that ball at the plate, and it's ruled foul by Sam Holbrook, and that's how the game begins tonight. Strike one.
Cliff Lee coming off, of course, the Cy Young Award last season when he won 22 ball games. He won 14 this year between Cleveland and the Philadelphia Phillies.
And a chopper hit toward third, and again foul. No balls, 2 strikes. The wind is a factor in this ballpark. It is blowing straight in. A very cold night, as we showed you graphically a minute ago. This would, I imagine, guys, be a game where small ball is going to be very important for the Phillies and the Dodgers.
Again, you just can't allow the opponents to take advantage of mistakes, base on balls and missed plays defensively.
And a fly ball hit toward left fielder Raul Ibanez, and Cliff Lee will take all those he can get tonight. 1 up, 1 down in the top of the first. And Ronnie Belliard is the Dodger number 2 hitter and has our big hit brought to you by Hass Avocados.
Well, what's great about this bunt is that in this situation, he bunted it hard enough to get it past Chan-Ho Park. And then you see Ryan Howard did not take the right angle, ended up being a perfect bunt and a perfect situation that was not handled by the Phillies.
Belliard batted 7th in the first 2 games of this series. He's up in the number 2 spot in front of Andre Ethier tonight.
Yeah, I think Joe Torre just wanted to get his bat top of the order. He's swinging the bat and really seeing the ball well so far in this postseason.
He's 3 for 8 against the Phillies so far and hasn't even counted. Doesn't look like Belliard's affected by the cold, does it?
I think think that lineup change was a combination of both, right, fellas? Not only for Belliard to move up with that hotter bat, but Ethier's seeing the ball awfully well and keep him in those RBI situations.
He's handled a left-hander so far in this series.
Another line drive to left. Ibanez on the run, makes a sliding catch. They love him here. Raul Ibanez, 2 outs.
Cliffley's going to throw a lot of strikes, and the defense anticipates the ball being put in play on every pitch. And Ibanez gets a pretty good jump on this ball, but it starts to die as the wind knocks it down. He has to go into a slide just after he makes the catch, but that ball was sinking fast.
He got that a little off the end of the bat. You can spend an entire summer here in Philadelphia and not see many left fielders come in to catch the baseball here.
Very short porch in left field, 334 feet. 329 at the foul pole, 374 to the left center field alley. Very comfortable place to try to hit the ball out the other way. In the case of Andre Ethier, who hit 31 home runs this year in regular season play.
You know, in this day and age, Chip and Buck, where the players, the hitters, try to dictate the at-bats by taking a lot of pitches, working the pitch count up for the starting pitcher. Just the opposite, almost a throwback in Cliff Lee. He tries to dictate the tempo and the at-bats of the hitters.
It's always so interesting to talk to Joe Torre because the touchstone for him, obviously, those great Yankee teams. He's talked about Andre Ethier, reminding him of Paul O'Neill and James Loney, Bernie Williams. He said of Cliff Lee, he's Warren Spahn-like in his ability to dictate the way opposing hitters swing the bats against him. Pretty high praise for anybody, especially Cliff Lee.
Well, and that's the thing Joe Torre has, the advantage of decades of experience as a player and as a manager. And when you talk about Cliff Lee, the ability to go back and forth with velocity and throw all of your pitches in the strike zone puts a hitter in a swing mindset.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ethier stays alive here in the first.
Having that decades of experience, the game's been the same for over 100 years. So occasionally someone's going to come up that looks exactly like the player of the past.
Start for Cliff Lee. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first in frosty Philadelphia. The starting lineups for the Phillies brought to you by Budweiser. Jimmy Rollins, Shane Victorino, and Chase Utley, a combined 4 for 26 at the plate so far in this series. Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez, the middle of the attack. Pedro Feliz, Carlos Ruiz hits 8. Boy, he's off to a hot start. And Cliff Lee will pitch. And that ninth against Hiroki Kuroda, a man that's given the Phillies some trouble when he's matched up with them in regular and postseason play.
Charlie Manuel said that the reason they have not hit him well, they have to be patient. He pitches around the strike zone, sometimes backwards in his approach.
Not backwards, you mean he'll throw breaking balls over in fastball counts, and he has all the tools to do that. Fastball, slider, split curve, and a changeup. He's got a lot of poise and focus. 11 years in the Japanese professional league. 34-year-old. Cold weather might affect his command tonight. That's going to be interesting to see how that develops here early in the ball game.
And Jimmy Rollins right on top of the plate for the Phillies. As Kuroda misses well outside, ball 1.
Chip, you were asking about the cold before. One of the keys you can do as a pitcher is keep it really simple in the first couple of innings. Just try to get 2 pitches established, not all 4 or 5.
Russell Martin held that for a second, thought that wasn't good enough. Instead, it's ball 2. An injury-plagued year for Kuroda. And there's his first strike of the night.
Hiroki Kuroda is a little different than most of the Japanese pitchers we have seen come to the United States in it. He had a 2-seam fastball when he got here. He learned that in Japan, something that most Japanese pitchers don't throw.
Fly ball, pretty well hit, but the wind's got a hold of that. Andre Ethier moves a couple of steps to his right. Rollins flies out. Here's a look at the Los Angeles defense for Game 3.
The Dodgers have been terrific in the postseason. They're the only remaining postseason team that hasn't committed an error. Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Blankenford-Call on the left side. Ronnie Belliard and James Loney on the right side. Loney's a terrific fielder, and Russell Martin has really done a great job of handling Hiroki Kuroda. They really get on the same page and put together a terrific game plan.
Ball 1 to Shane Victorino, 2 for 9 in this series. Dodgers no errors in their last 76 innings. That includes this year's postseason play. And a hot shot into right field. Victorino has the first Philadelphia hit. Broken bat. And a speed merchant aboard here in the first inning in front of Chase Utley.
Never feels good to break your bat on a night like this, but if it's a base hit, never tingles when you get to first base.
So Victorino, with 25 steals in the regular season, aboard with 1 out. Chase Utley in the batter's box. Utley 1 for 8 in this series, and the Dodgers really handled him in the regular season as well. He had just 4 hits in their head-to-head matchups before the playoffs. And a called strike has Utley behind.
That's the best way to shut down the running game. Go strike 1. You take away those extra pitches away from Victorino to get a read on Kuroda. Victorino was picked off in the first inning of Game 1 by Clayton Kershaw. Got too anxious early.
You know, we mentioned that Kuroda has pitched well against the Phillies, including the postseason in his career. He's made 4 starts, 2-0, 25 innings pitched, no home runs, 1.44 ERA. So he has been outstanding against the Fighting Phils.
So do you think the Phillies will try to push the envelope and try to run on this combination of Kuroda and Russell Martin?
The colder the weather is, the more active the players should be.
Davey Lopes, the Phillies' first base coach, has the stopwatch at the ready as Victorino measures off a big first inning lead.
And he's trying to establish that fastball early in this ball game, and that's important because then the splitter comes into play. You throw fastballs to a point where hitters try to anticipate the fastball, and that's when the splitter is most effective. good base runners don't necessarily need a big lead. They will get a shorter lead, but confident they can read the pitcher and just go for a good break. Davey Lopes coaches as if he were the base stealer, looking for any kind of hints and any kind of patterns from Kuroda.
1 ball, 1 strike to Chase Utley. First inning. And a closer play at first. Victorino is back. It really is a mathematical problem to determine whether a base stealer will be successful or not from glove to glove.
Well, what you'll have with Lopes, he'll have the timing of Kuroda to the plate. That'll have a number. He already knows how Martin can throw, how quickly he can throw down to second base. You put those together, and they're a higher number, you want to go then. Push the envelope.
Runner goes, good jump, pitch low. Martin's throw is not in time. The envelope has been pushed. Runner at second, 1 out.
Looked to me like Furcal might have come in front of the bag a little too far at second base. Watch where he takes this throw and just doesn't allow the ball to travel. He's going to make the tag. He's stopped in good position, but Victorino with that straight leg slides ahead of the tag. Good throw, good slide.
And a good call by Tom Halligan out at second base. So Utley ahead in the count. Runner at second, 1 out. Bottom of the first inning.
People at home, if you hear the Phillies faithful chanting, it's something I usually hear in the Boston Garden. Beat LA over and over.
They did it in last year's National League Championship Series. Would like to repeat here in 2009. Phillies trying to make some early hay for Cliff Lee. Victorino in scoring position, 1 out. Line drive, base hit right field. Ethier plays it on a second hop. Victorino will be held. They're at the corners with 1 man out.
Sam Perlaza, the third base coach for Philadelphia, after the line drive to right, had his eye on Andre Ethier, came way down the line and threw up the stop sign very late. Base hit by Utley on a sinking fastball. The ball is right at Ethier, and there's Sam way down the line throwing up a late stop sign. He was wanting to see the ball bounce to Ethier. If it went to him on a high bounce, he was going to hold him up. Right there, look at Victorino picking up the third base coach and gets the stop sign. But you don't want to run into an out with Ryan Howard coming to the plate,
who has an RBI in every postseason game so far in 2009. 2 on, 1 out for the Phillies first baseman. They drove in 141 men in the regular season. Modified shift on the Dodger infield. And again, Kuroda misses inside.
Well, both the hits from Victorino and Chase Utley, broken bat hits. Well placed.
I asked Ryan Howard about Kuroda before the game. He said he throws everything at you. I remember seeing a wide assortment, and he throws everything over the plate. Evidently, that's the formula that can shut Howard down. He's 0 for 8 against Kuroda.
But Howard now ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. And now 2-1. Howard this postseason 5 for 7 with runners in scoring position. He's knocked in 9 men in the Phillies' first 2 postseason series.
This is a tough spot for a pitcher. You want a ground ball to get a double play, but at the same time you're pitching to Howard's strength down in the zone.
Rafael for call on the first base side of the second base bag. Belliard playing Howard to pull. And Loney, of course, has to hold Chase Utley. 3-1.
Well, Joe Torre eyeballing Kuroda, really what I'm seeing, not great command yet, and also about everything's hard. Nothing off speed so far.
Utley goes. Swing and line drive into the right field corner. Victorino scores. Utley around third. He's going to score. Howard's going for 3. The throw to third. Not in time. It's a triple for Ryan Howard.
A little slider down and in, and we've talked about it the first 2 games of this series. Anything down and in, Buck, dangerous area against Howard.
Kuroda really got in the jam at that point where he had to throw a pitch, and he went down and in. You could see how the ball worked its way out over the plate right into Howard's wheelhouse.
And look at the big fella run.
An RBI in 7 consecutive games in the postseason. A new record for Ryan Howard and a 2-0 first inning lead for the Phillies. And strike 1 to Jason Worth. Howard now 4 for 7 with 5 RBIs in this series against the Dodgers.
Also talking about a guy that made himself a better fielder this winter. Now that's his 5th triple, 4 in the regular season. Stole 8 bases, only caught once this season.
And already we are seeing an awful lot of evidence of what Cal and Boomer and EJ were talking about at the pregame show, which you 2 gentlemen have talked about here in this first inning. The command of Kuroda is not very good in this first inning, and the Phillies are jumping all over it.
Yeah, and every pitcher has trouble adjusting in the first inning, no matter if it's a hot night or a cold night, just getting used to the new mound, different than the mound you warmed up on, trying to control the emotions of the game. But this is a type of ball club that the Dodgers are confident if they can keep it close, they can come back. They've done it all year long, both for Kyle and Martin going to the mound and try to help Kuroda regroup.
Fly ball hammered center field. Kemp going back. That ball is long gone.
Facing the Phillies, you have to get in good counts. That means strike 1. If you don't, and you try to power yourself through this lineup instead of finessing yourself through this lineup, they will bludgeon you.
Four consecutive Philadelphia hits, and Rick Honeycutt to the mound. And the layoff of September 8th until tonight is very much apparent.
And the Phillies were aware of that during batting practice. They talked about the fact that Kuroda threw the ball well in his side session, but they said, yeah, that's Arizona, and they're not Phillies down there. So the Phillies were very confident getting a chance to face him tonight. This is a powerful lineup that can strike at any point in the lineup.
Buck, you've been involved in many of these gatherings. A pitching coach, a catcher out there, and the pitcher who's struggling through a first inning. What are you trying to tell him at this point?
Just hold him right there. Just stop him right now. Give us a chance to get back in this game. Just regroup and keep battling. All the while, Chad Billingsley starting to loosen up in the bullpen.
Here's Raul Ibanez. And hitter after hitter, it's ball one from Kuroda. Ibanez hit 34 homers in the regular season. 20 of those came in the first 56 games for the Phillies. And then Ibanez injured a groin in the middle of the season and missed nearly a month.
You have to really think about the input of Charlie Manuel and Milt Thompson. When they went over Kuroda, they said, make him throw the ball over the plate. He pitches around the plate, not over it.
The command in Arizona against minor leaguers can always be a lot better than it's going to be against the defending world champions.
There's a strike. Kuroda, as you know, started Game 3 of last year's NLCS against the Phillies and won that game. He's allowed 4 runs so far in this first. And now has the count full with 1 out to Raul Ibanez.
You know, just looking at the outfield here, Buck, because of that triple by Howard, you can see the outfielders in left and right field bunch towards Kemp. They're trying to take away anything in the gap that opens anything down the lines.
And the first strikeout of the night is Raul Ibanez. 2 outs, and the base is clear as this National League Championship Series coverage on TBS is brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Here's Pedro Feliz, the Phillies' third baseman. 0 for 6 in this series. Were you guys surprised at how quickly Jason Worth's ball got out of this ballpark with the wind howling in straight away from center?
Well, the ball's really been carrying even back in batting practice, and when he hit it like that, I mean, Kemp never even really went back on it.
Casey Blake at third gives some ground, and Kuroda, shaky start, gives up 2 singles, a 2-run scoring triple by Ryan Howard, and a line drive homer straightaway center field from former Dodger Jason Worth. 4-0 Philadelphia after 1. 800 DirecTV. A cold night in Philadelphia, but blessedly no rain, which was forecast all day today. And right now the Dodgers find themselves with Manny Ramirez in the batter's box, down 4-0 here in Game 3. And a quick strike from Lee. Here again, guys, we keep repeating ourselves, but with good reason. Shutdown innings are crucial in postseason play. A chance for Lee to turn one in now.
Especially when you get that big a lead, a 4-run lead in the first. You want to throw strike after strike right now.
Well, he's been great in the regular season this year. 2.05 ERA in shutdown innings. So Cliff Lee familiar with doing his job after getting a few runs.
Manny Ramirez has one hit in this series. It was a long 2-run homer off Cole Hamels out at Dodger Stadium. 149 in total, and just 227 so far in the postseason. Pretty good cut, but fouled straight back to even the count 2-2.
They'll cut fastball. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, charting the pitches to keep track, not so much of the number, but the pitches he throws in different sequences to put together the next scouting report for Cliff Lee.
Manny saw Cliff Lee a lot over in the American League, where he was 6 for 14 in his career with a couple of home runs.
Well, some of these Dodgers saw Cliff Lee this year, but not as a Philly. He was with the Cleveland Indians, where he went 7 1/3, gave up 1 earned run.
And Lee had some rough outings in the last month of this season for Philadelphia. He gave up more than 4 a couple of times.
6 twice, 5 once, 7 once.
And Manny works a full count at 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Got off to a great start. That's the way to make yourself comfortable in a new atmosphere. Come over and win the first 5 games you pitch for your new team.
Yeah, a lot of folks are saying, Roy Halladay who? And Manny Ramirez with a bolt right back through the middle. And that's the first Dodger hit of this ball game. A very solidly hit ball from Manny Ramirez.
Cliff Lee, you don't have to worry about his pitch count tonight. He's going to pitch until he's done. They don't want to go to the bullpen. They want Cliff Lee to come up with another complete game effort, the same as he did in Game 1 of the division series. This time of the year, you really kind of discount pitch count. You just worry about what you see the hitters are doing against your starting pitcher.
And now Matt Kemp bats behind Manny Ramirez. One of the subtle moves made by Joe Torre in his Dodger lineup card tonight. With Ronnie Belliard hitting second, Joe wanted Kemp hitting in the middle of the order, and why not? Kemp drove in over 100 runs in the regular season.
This is where the Dodger mantra of 27 outs serves them very well. You don't have to get the 4 runs back all in one inning.
Kemp was late. 1-2. The strikeout has been a problem for Matt Kemp this postseason. He's punched out 10 times. And is hitting .217 in the playoffs. And a broken bat flare toward Chase Utley for out number 1. Manny Ramirez at first. James Loney to the batter's box as we take a look at Citizens Bank Park, courtesy of the PlayStation game MLB 09 The Show.
Well, what I like about this ballpark is that it's a great hitter's park, It's a beautiful ballpark, and you can walk around this ballpark 360 degrees, but with that, a lot of wind shoots through this ballpark, and that's why during the summer anyways, the prevailing winds are shooting out to left center.
Now, you're a pitcher. You really like this ballpark?
I like it now. I'm not pitching anymore.
James Loney, the batter, with Manny at first and one out. But as we saw with Jason Worth's homer, wind blowing in, wind blowing out, if you hit it under radar, as you said, it will go to straightaway center. It'll go out to 374 and that 387 mark for these two offenses. And that's a healthy target for left-hand hitters like James Loney, who has homered in this series, that at Dodger Stadium.
There's that downward angle. It's so difficult for hitters to really see the baseball well when you keep your hand on top of the ball and you're throwing the ball down. All you can see is the top half. So it's very difficult, especially for left-handed hitters, to really get zeroed in on that ball as it comes out of Lee's hand.
And so far, what a big difference in command of Kuroda versus Lee so far in tonight's Game 3.
Well, there was a real sense of purpose so far in this game with Cliff Lee with every single pitch. It looked like Kuroda, when you watched him, he was trying to hurry through that first inning, kind of pitch quickly and throw the ball as hard as he could. You have to finesse this Philadelphia team.
Bounce to Ryan Howard. Second base, 1. First base, 2. Smooth as silk, Ryan Howard starts a 3-6-3 inning-ending double play in the second. MLB postseason and Espanol live MLB postseason Spanish language feed is available via SAP. 8-9-1 coming up for the Philadelphia Phillies, and that really means more trouble for the Dodgers. For Carlos Ruiz is having a marvelous series again for Philadelphia. A very rough start for Hiroki Kuroda of the Dodgers.
You know, Buck, I was asking before, when you have a tough inning and you have to go out there with a pitching coach, you think to yourself, you know, I've been in that situation 100 times. And the reason I asked you is that not only do you have the language problem with Kuroda, of course he's very baseball savvy, he knows all the pitch in and pitch down and all that, but also you've seen a lot of pitchers who go there in the first inning. They're shocked. They're almost in shock and stunned, and hard for them to hear any of the information you give them.
That ball hammered toward left center field, and nobody's getting that. Ruiz doubles. He's 12 for his last 20 now against the Dodgers.
They got to tear up that scouting report, because every fastball they throw him, middle, out over the plate, and up, he hammers it. And this ball goes all the way to the gap. Boy, you talk about a big hit. How about a leadoff double out of the 8th spot to set up your pitcher?
Well, the Phillies have hit for the cycle here in the first 8 hitters.
And with that, the Dodger bullpen will go back to work, and Chad Billingsley begins to loosen. Here's Lee with Ruiz at second and nobody out. And a strike to the Philadelphia pitcher.
Ruiz at second. Pretty good base runner, but you can't get overly aggressive. If Lee happens to bunt through the ball, you become vulnerable to that throwback from Russell Martin.
Kuroda pounces off the mound and has one play, throws high at first. And Belliard, a nice play to save that ball from ending up down the right field line. Sacrifice, chases Ruiz to third with one out. Now the top of the order coming up. And now Billingsley sits down. It's left-hander Scott Elbert who gets up and throws for the first time.
Billingsley, a starter for most of the season. If you were going to use them, probably want to use him to start an inning. Now with the left-handers coming up, with Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, the left-handed Elbert would be the guy you'd go to.
Yeah, see if he can't get you out of the inning when you're in meat of the order with those two left-handers, Utley and Howard.
Well, Buck, this is one of the things that managers try to preach to their team when they get off to a good start. The add-on run is so important to try to put a team away.
Very long meeting with Rick Honeycutt breaks up now. And Jimmy Rollins, who hit the ball hard, fly to right his first time up.
Jimmy Rollins, a switch hitter from the left side. He sprays the ball all over the diamond. Really a tough guy to defend. But he still has more pop as a left-handed hitter, and that's why he's really strong to the pull side. That's where he hit his home runs from this side of the plate.
Blake even with the bag at third. And downstairs to Jimmy Rollins, 1 ball, no strikes.
One thing that the Phillies have caused Kuroda to do is avoid his splitter. Because he hasn't had command of the fastball, he hasn't been able to get to the split finger pitch, and that's one of his most important pitches.
It's been ball 1, ball 2 all night for him.
You can't pitch against this team. You can't pitch against any team like this, but so tough, this Phillies team. The splitter, of course, colder the weather, more difficult it is to control.
They can't afford to go much longer with Kuroda. He doesn't look like he's going to be able to turn things around quickly. Elbert should be ready by now.
Rollins taking all the way. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. So important for this Philadelphia attack to have Rollins and Victorino on the base paths. They feed the machine that is Utley, Howard, and Worth. And tonight, Victorino and Utley on twice. Rollins trying to reach for the first time, and will, as that ball's past Loney down the right field line. Scoring easily is Ruiz. Rollins a stand-up double. It's 5-0.
Most of the balls in this inning, guys, have been hit extremely hard in this game, I'm sorry. And this one just by the reach of James Loney down the line.
Jimmy Rollins, really the guy that makes this entire offense go, setting the table for Ryan Howard. Carlos Ruiz had a terrific postseason. Another big hit for Ruiz. By because after that he stole second.
Ed came around to score the first run of the night for the Phillies, who've plated 5 men in the first inning and a third of tonight's game. Hiroki Kuroda is gone. Scott Elbert is on in the second inning with Victorino and Utley coming up.
Well, Victorino, though, is one of those guys that's such a competitor. After he wishes you good luck, he steals your lunch money. Scott Elbert, see his numbers this year, only appeared in 19 games. And because of the left-handed heavy lineup of the Philadelphia Phillies, he was added to the roster. Jeff Weaver was taken off.
Elbert, 24 years of age, out of Joplin, Missouri. That's where he was born back in 1985. Lives in Seneca, Missouri. A first-round pick by the Dodgers back in 2004. 18 relief appearances in 4 separate stints with the big league club in 2009. And Rollins was thinking about third base when Elbert whirled and faked to second. Been kind of a whirlwind season for the young Dodger left-hander. He started the year in Double-A at Chattanooga. In fact, made the Southern League All-Star team, but then was promoted to Triple-A on June 22nd. Did get a chance to pitch in the Double-A All-Star festivities. And now here he is pitching in the big league postseason for the Dodgers.
Well, he's got a big arm, man. Obviously, the Dodgers have had so many moves in their pitching staff. They were promoting guys and just trying to come up with somebody that could get them through the middle part of the season. And Joe Torre and Rick Honeycutt have really had to be creative in how they were going to put this pitching staff together, especially because the starters didn't pitch deep into ball games.
And Albert nearly tumbled as he missed down and in. 2 balls and no strikes.
It's interesting how power arms tend to make postseason rosters.
Now Albert will tie that shoe.
I asked Don Mattingly about power arms. He says this time of the year power will beat good hitters because hitters are a little bit weary after 6 months of the regular season. If you've got some big arms, you can overmatch teams in the postseason.
Well, Los Angeles needs some shutdown innings tonight after Kuroda was touched up for 5 so far. Rollins is his responsibility out at second base. And a very disappointed young man sitting on that Dodger bench, hopeful of reliving Game 3 glory in 2008 tonight. Didn't happen. Three balls and a strike to Shane Victorino. Originally selected by the Dodgers in the 1999 draft, and he takes a base on balls. First and second, one out.
Russell Martin's going to have to do some work here. He's got to get Elbert calmed down. This is his first postseason experience, and he's rushing a little bit, got his heart pumping a little bit. And Martin's got to go out there and try to help him gather himself.
And after coming from the bullpen, Joe Torre has always told me when he brings a reliever in, the first hitter is the most important. 4 of those 5 pitches, not even close.
That's the first walk of the game issued by a Dodger pitcher tonight. Here's Utley. A clean single his first time up. His second hit of the series. Big problem for the Dodgers in Game 1 of this series was the base on balls. With Clayton Kershaw walking 5 in his first start in this postseason series against the Phillies. And he allowed 5 runs in 4 2/3 innings. Can't allow the Phillies anymore. They are up 5-0. And Billingsley is up again. And that one all the way to the backstop. Rollins to third, Victorino to second. Wild pitches were also a problem for the Dodger left-hander in Game 1 of the series, and they're a problem for Albert here.
Well, trying to throw a little cutter down and away, not even close. 1-0. Russell Martin, of course, expects that pitch to be a strike, not close, doesn't block it. Then second and third for the young left-handers. Rick Honeycutt trying to settle down a pitcher who replaced Kuroda, but the same kind of problem. Can't throw strikes, and nerves seem to be a problem.
Is it different in postseason play as a young pitcher?
What you do your entire life, isn't it, when you're a young guy? Can't wait to turn on the television in October,
sure,
see all your heroes play, and then all of a sudden, before you even know it, you're out there in the middle of it, and sometimes it can be overwhelming.
The only thing you can hear is your heart beating, and it's going too fast right now for Albert.
So Rick Honeycutt already wearing out a path from that Dodger dugout to the center of the diamond. Back in his spot. 2 balls, no strikes for Chase Utley. A hit could score 2 more runs. 5-0 Phillies. Second strike of 9 pitches thrown is called on Chase Utley.
Long innings twice now for Cliff Lee, but as a starting pitcher, you'll take it.
And Utley's aboard. Back-to-back walks, loads the bases for red-hot Ryan Howard. And he's had a bevy of big hits already in the first 3 games of this series.
game one in the 5th inning with a couple aboard. He dives a double down the right field line. Chase Utley scored all the way from first base, and then against Padilla, he got a breaking ball on the outside corner. And here tonight, another key hit by Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard just said to his teammates, "Get me to the plate in the 9th inning in Denver." He came through then. And he hits a slow roller to Loney at first. Howard tries to dive under the tag, cannot do so. He's tagged out with Jimmy Rollins scoring the 6th run of the game for the Phillies. 2 out. And another RBI for Ryan Howard.
Well, a strike by Albert. Gets a little topper here by Howard. And nice play by James Loney, who has some nice hands. And then the tag on the number of Ryan Howard.
And close the book on Corona now. 6 runs, 6 hits in an inning and a third. And now Joe Torre, with right hand hitting Jason Worth in the batter's box, will bring on Chad Billingsley with 2 on and 2 men out. So this game has not gone at all the way Joe Torre would have hoped. Corona was shellacked. Albert has had some control trouble, and he's on his 3rd pitcher of the night, down 6 in game 3. With runners at 2nd and 3rd belonging to him, Chad Billingsley, a starting pitcher for most of the season for Los Angeles, is on in relief in the 2nd.
So the Ohio native Chad Billingsley had an interesting season this year. 16 wins a year ago, started the season 9-4, and there was talk of maybe a possible Cy Young type year. Finished up at 3-7.
Hey, the All-Star team had leg problems, had hamstring problems in both legs second half of the season, and just really never got into a good groove. He's made 1 relief appearance this year after 32 starts for the full season. But they all believe that Billingsley has the stuff to be an ace on this staff. He just hasn't been able to take it deep into a ball game to be that dominant pitcher that goes along with being an ace. He has all of the pitches and certainly has the quality stuff, but hasn't been able to dominate, especially in the second half of this season.
And obviously the Dodgers can't afford to give up any more runs. They're down 6-0 here in inning number 2, the largest postseason deficit overcome by the Dodgers to win a game in franchise history was October 5th, 1956 in Game 2 of the World Series. They trailed 6-0 to the Yankees, eventually won that game 13-8. Jason Worth hit a cruise missile over the center field fence in the first inning, capping a 4-run frame. And a bullet foul past third, just missed.
Well, in the first inning, gets a fastball middle of the plate, and you called it right, a cruise missile. Knew it as soon as he hit it. Huge home run for Worth.
So he's finally healthy.
He's healthy, and many people in baseball feel like he's only going to get better. His best this year, 36 home runs.
Drove in 99 men as well, hit 268. Remember, they had Jeff Jenkins here playing the outfield. Worth finally was able to supplant him and has been a huge contributor for this Phillies club. And he swings and misses, and Billingsley throws a nasty pitch to finally retire the side. Ruiz and Rollins are in the middle of it again for Philadelphia. 2 more runs across in the second, and the Dodgers trail it 6-0 heading to the third. Budweiser with Buck Martinez, Ron Darling, Craig Sager, Chip Carey at Citizens Bank Park. It is the third inning, and the Phillies have jumped all over the Dodgers here in Game 3, 6-0. Here's your score. And Casey Blake, Russell Martin, and Chad Billingsley are coming up against Cliff Lee, who continues to pound that strike zone.
Well, the Dodgers now have played in the last couple of seasons 8 postseason games against these Phillies, and really have gotten 2 good starts in those 8. The 6 have been very shaky. And if you don't get at least solid starting pitching for 5 or 6 innings, it's very difficult to win in the postseason.
Yeah, you've got to have your hitters an opportunity to score some runs. And when you're down, you afford Cliff Lee the luxury of just throwing strikes with his fastball right now. But everybody in that Dodger dugout is saying to one another, let's get into that bullpen somehow.
And Casey Blake down on strikes. Second punch out for Cliff Lee. 1 up, 1 down.
Well, Buck, this is the first curveball we've seen. Good one from Cliff Lee. Straight downer.
He stays back and really gets on top of that breaking pitch and throws it under the bat of Casey Blake. And that's one thing he's going to have to do. Just make sure that he continues to pitch with all of his pitches and just don't get into a fastball mode.
Again, that's what Joe Torre said about Cliff Lee. He is Warren Spahn-like in his ability to wreck a hitter's timing. Very high praise for Lee, who's allowed just one hit so far tonight, and jumps ahead of catcher Russell Martin, the Dodgers' 8th place hitter. Some fans in Philadelphia were concerned about what the psyche of the Philadelphia ball club would be after the disastrous result of Game 2 out in Los Angeles. I think they've taken care of any concerns about that behind Lee and his offense and his home crowd.
If you had any doubts about their psyche, you didn't watch the Colorado Game 4 when they came back after blowing a lead late. There's no question about the character of the Phillies.
Also, you're talking about the reigning world champions. You don't become world champions unless you have great character. And I also think an off day helps kind of dissipate all those feelings of remorse from the game they might have won.
Back to the mound on one big hop.
You know, Buck, you made a nice point there, is that you'll get a lot of hitters. Now, retired Blake on a curveball, retired Martin on a changeup. You'll have hitters screaming at you from the bench, throw a fastball, you got a 6-run lead. That is not the way to go about it. You still have to have your game plan that you had and really play mind games with yourself and say it's 0-0. Just keep going how you did in the first inning.
Well, Cliff Lee comes from the American League where 6 runs early is nothing.
So Chad Billingsley in the box. He takes a called strike. Billingsley, a Dodger #1 pick back in 2003, born in Defiance, Ohio. Lives now in Scottsdale, Arizona. 6'1", 245-pound right-handed pitcher.
Well, you wonder why he's hitting here in the pitcher spot. They need some length from him. He's got to give him 3 or 4 innings.
And Cliff Lee has faced the minimum through 3. That's his 3rd strikeout.
Get a great jump on the ball, chase it.
I kind of hesitated.
You kind of hesitated, right? Okay. That's okay.
I know.
I'm judging myself,
no, it wasn't
too,
you.
you know.
No, I hesitated.
Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner to sign up and watch live video companion coverage of this game and every NLCS game. This is Game 3 from Citizens Bank Park. A momentum game Joe Torre has talked about. And right now, all the momentum sitting squarely in that Philadelphia dugout as they've scored 6 times in the first 2 innings against Kuroda, Elbert, and Billingsley. Raul Ibanez will start things off. He struck out swinging. Again, Ibanez taking the place of Pat Burrell in this Philadelphia lineup, playing left field. 37 years young, got a multi-year contract for the Phillies, and put together a 34 home run season. And quickly became a fan favorite with his all-out hustle at the plate and defensively and left.
A lot of people didn't know a lot about Ibanez. He played in Kansas City, played in Seattle, and didn't get a chance to play until later in his career. But he is truly the epitome of a professional player.
That ball was scorched out towards second. Belliard makes the play from the outfield grass for out number 1.
This is a pretty interesting opportunity around for Billingsley because he's out there now, and obviously no pressure whatsoever. It's 6-0. His Cubs behind, but he can give them a big, long relief appearance here, and maybe make a bid for a start later on in the series.
In Kuroda's spot, if they go deep.
Here's Pedro Feliz. Despite Billingsley's second half woes, he still led the Dodger team in 12 wins this year. Went 12-11, a 4.03 ERA. Second season as a starter.
As it was in the golden days of the Dodgers, they used to bring a lot of their talented youngsters, put them in the bullpen. He and Broxton were setting up Saito for a while. Then he got his shot and made the most of it. 16 wins last season.
Broken bat rolled out towards short for Call's got it. And Feliz will shake the bumblebees out of his fingertips. That ball really got in on his hands, and there's the second out.
You know what's interesting about Billingsley is that he has such a great breaking pitch, both the curveball and a slider, and they're swing and miss pitches and their strikeout pitches. And I tend to, when I watch him pitch, tends to go away from his fastball, and his fastball is outstanding. And if he got more contact with that, he would last deeper into the games as opposed to falling in love with the strikeout.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. Let's see if the Dodgers pitch him differently because he's worn him out. He doubled and scored in his only at bat so far tonight.
Well, the one thing that young pitchers deal with when they come to the major leagues is the mindset that they have to pitch better in the big leagues than they did in the minors. All you have to do is execute your pitches and trust what you're seeing. He has all of the weapons. He's thrown good sliders to Ruiz here, trying to elevate that fastball to get him to chase. But sometimes you give the hitter way too much credit, and that's what you mean about shying away from your fastball.
In the air to right center field, but that's playable for Ethier. He's got it. And Billingsley has faced 4 men. He's retired all of them. 6-0. We head to the 4th. the Dodger order in the 4th inning, leading by a 6-0 score. That means Rafael Furcal, Ronnie Belliard, and Andre Ethier are coming up. Wind still a factor. Very cold night. Temperature in the low 40s. And Lee has struck out 3 men, 2 flyouts, 1 pop out. Everything else on the ground or in the glove of Carlos Ruiz so far. And he just continues to pepper the strike zone. 0-1 the count, 2 for call. There's that good changeup. He just mixes everything so beautifully. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The way you watch Cliff Lee pitch, he pitches with such purpose that he allows himself 3 outs here on a 2-2 count. He can go back to that good changeup. He can throw that fastball away that he just missed with, or he can throw that cutter in. So a lot of different possibilities.
And he misses low. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a big lead. The last thing he wants is a base on balls.
Yeah, especially top of the order. But you see, the most wins the last 2 seasons, Roy Halladay of the Blue Jays just 1 ahead of Cliff Lee and CC Sabathia.
Popped up right side. Wynn pushing that toward the stands, and no play for Ryan Howard.
Last year when Cliff Lee won the Cy Young Award, everybody said, well, where did he come from? Well, in 2005 he had 18 wins as well. He was 18-5 for the Indians. He's been doing this for a while. He's had to battle some problems with sports hernia and abdominal strains the last couple of years, but boy, oh boy, when he is right, he is as tough as any left-hander in the game.
In fact, was sent back to the minor leagues for a small time to reestablish his fastball and his curveball.
Ruiz got rocked by that ball. He's down to 2 knees. And for call again, a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, he's got that extension on the bottom of his mask, and sometimes you get hit on that and just kind of throws it right into your Adam's apple, and then you got hit on the chest protector. You can have all that protection, but still, when you get hit with this baseball, it can really rock your world. Right on the chin of that mask. Drives that jawbone right back into your ears.
You look like you really missed that, Buck.
I speak from experience. That's what's amazing about catchers that are great offensive players, that they can take that beating day in and day out and still put up big numbers. A Joe Mauer, for instance, that wins 3 batting titles and takes the beating that catchers have to deal with every day.
And fouled straight back. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rafael Furcal.
The Phillies believe that Carlos Ruiz is right there with Yadi Molina as the 2 best catchers in the National League. Game calling, leadership, defensive skills.
Furcal takes a call, 3rd strike. 4 strikeouts for Cliff Lee. It's time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Joining us tonight is Phillies first base coach Davey Lopes.
Davey, you were a great leadoff hitter when you played. The top of your order tonight, Rollins, Victorino, and Utley have been on base. What's that do for the middle of your batting order?
Oh, it just sets the whole tempo of the game. When these 2 guys, especially the first 2 guys, when they get on, they disrupt the pitch, even if they're not running. They give them something else to think about. And it allows other hitters, the 3, 4, 5 hitters, to get better pitches.
As far as things to think about, when your base stealers get on first, do you walk them through a litany of things they can think about with the pitcher trying to pick them off?
Well, I pretty much I try to pick up anything I can to help me, whether it's the catcher's sign, the manager's opposing sign for the throwovers and that kind of stuff. And of course, I stay on the pitcher all the time and try to figure out his move, what tells me when he's coming to first base versus going home.
Our thanks to Davey Lopes, who's like everybody else on the playing field trying to stay warm tonight.
And that was interesting. He said he tries to help his base stealers. He didn't have much help when he was a player.
That ball's hit to the right side. Ryan Howard flips to lead. Did his job. Nice coordination. 7 men up, 7 men down. 2 outs in the LA fourth.
And Davey Lopes was stealing bases. He's the guy that had to learn all the pitchers, had to learn all the moves. He didn't have the advantage of having an experienced base stealer like himself to give him the shortcut. So he has really made the base runner's job a lot easier here in Philadelphia.
And, you know, with the game changing to more speed than power in years gone by, Davey Lopes plays a big part. Second on the Dodgers' career stolen base record behind you-know who, Maury Wills, of course.
And at the ripe old age of 40, as we told you the other night, stole 47 bases in 1985. Davey Lopes did that with the Cubs. Andre Ethier bats with the bases empty. And the count of a ball and a strike. I think that's the great secret about this Philadelphia ball club. You look up and see all that power, all those home runs, all those runs. You forget the guys like Rollins, Victorino, and Utley, all 3 of those men can run. Worth stole 20 bases this year. This is a very good, well-rounded offensive ball club in Philadelphia. In fact, second to only the Mets in steals. The Dodgers were third in 2009. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Andre Ethier. Manny Ramirez has the only Dodger hit, a clean single back up the middle, leading off the second. Since then, Cliff Lee has set down 7 in a row. And ground ball to Chase Utley. Let's see if he makes a clean peg. He did. Low throw. Utley has really struggled a bit defensively so far in this series, but Ryan Howard with a nifty scoop. 8 up, 8 down for Cliff Lee, who has a big lead. The party back to late night. Lopez tonight, weeknights at 11:10 Central, starting November 9th only on TBS. Cliff Lee will start off the Philadelphia fourth. Boy, he's had a wonderful night tonight. Just one hit allowed the Dodger offense. He set down 8 in a row, has faced the minimum so far in this game. And Chad Billingsley, 4 hitters up, 4 hitters down, falls behind, 1 ball, no strikes. Pretty good rip, but fouled away for strike 2.
Cliff Lee started out in the Montreal organization and went to Montreal and then came to Cleveland before coming here to Philadelphia. Cleveland deal was a terrific deal for the Indians. Bartolo Colon was traded with Tim Drew to Montreal.
In the air to center field and playable for Matt Kemp. He drifts back a couple of steps. And he makes the play for out number 1 as we head to our TBS Inside Tracks tonight.
Way to run faster. All that fast on the triple and then can't even base hit, can't even get there.
Shane Victorino seems to be in the middle of just about everything for the Phillies here in 2009. And he's given Ryan Howard a little grief after the big man rumbled to a 2-run scoring triple in the first and then hit a slow roller to first that brought home another run. That's in the air by Jimmy Rollins again to center field. Kemp is there. Billingsley looking sharp. He set down 6 in a row.
Yeah, again, this is an important outing for Billingsley, and even if the Dodgers don't come back in this game, to keep Joe Torre from going any deeper into his bullpen and keep everybody fresh and in line for tomorrow's game. But also the possibility, should there be an opportunity to start later, Billingsley's making a dramatic impression. Game 7 might be his.
But a lot of work to do for the Dodgers to think about.
A long way from there.
From game 7. 1 ball, no strikes to Victorino. He has singled, stolen a base, scored, and he pinwheels the bat into the seats over the Phillies dugout. Hopefully everybody's all right.
Victorino well off balance. You can see his reaction, just hoping that everybody is safe and sound. Bat helicopter deep into the stands, well above the dugout there.
You know better than anyone, Buck, on these chilly nights, that pine tar just does not seem to work as well as it does on those warm days.
He's got out in front, was off balance, lost the grip of that bat. It's remarkable how many times you see balls and bats go into the seats, and most of the time everybody is safe and sound.
1 ball, 1 strike to Victorino. And that's high and away. So much familiarity between these two ball clubs. A lot of California kids playing for both the Dodgers and Phillies ball clubs. We mentioned Victorino was originally a Dodger draft pick in the 6th round of 1999. As he heads to first base with a 2-out walk. Padres took him in the Rule 5 draft in December of 2002. The Phillies then took him in the Rule 5 draft in 2004. And the rest, they say, is history. Got to the big league club in 2005 and has been here ever since. And after the base on balls, Victorino awards a souvenir.
If you get waffled by the bat, you get a souvenir.
So Victorino at first with 2 outs for Chase Utley. He has singled, walked, and scored. And looks at ball 1 low. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, Chip, you were talking about the Rule 5 for Victorino. But by the time he got to the Phillies and went to AAA, he became the AAA Player of the Year, minor league Player of the Year. So that's when it really started to gel for Shane.
It really gives the Phillies, I think, kind of a luxury in today's day and age of baseball. You know, you have Jimmy Rollins who can lead off, but Victorino, in some ways, a similar type player. Back-to-back leadoff hitters in front of Utley, Howard, and Worth.
And Charlie's taken advantage of that. When Jimmy Rollins has scuffled, he's dropped him down in the order and put Victorino right at top. No hesitation at all.
And Utley fouls that ball at the plate. 1-2 the count.
Well, you really have to commend Pat Gillick was the GM then, but of course Ruben Amaro now, because there's decisions you have to make. Aaron Rowan had a fantastic season for them. Should they sign him to a long-term contract? They said no. Michael Bourne, very talented. He's gone over to Houston and has led the league in stolen bases. They pushed him to Houston and decided on Victorino, and it's worked out perfectly.
And Michael Bourne helped bring them Brad Lidge. And we all know what Brad Lidge meant to the Phillies last year. And after a very shaky regular season, imagine where the Phillies would have been had Lidge been as perfect this year as he had been in 2008.
Well, and that's the beauty of scouting and making good decisions as a general manager. You're not going to get a Brad Lidge if he's throwing great. You have to go back and make a judgment as to whether or not he can bounce back. And boy, did he ever last year.
A line drive into the right field corner by Utley is fouled. We'll do it again. A ball and 2 strikes.
And that's why I think we've talked about it before, that Charlie Manuel's year, as this rope down the right field line by Utley, hit so hard and turning that he could not keep it fair. You know, last year everything went right in that bullpen. If you include postseason, 48 for 48. At times this season, nothing went right in that bullpen. And still, this Philadelphia Phillies team, with 11 blown saves by Brad Lidge, was able to win their division. That says something about the character of a ball club.
Yeah, and these guys down here in this bullpen, they pull for one another. When Lidge wrapped up the division series, the first guys to congratulate him were Ryan Madsen and Scott Ayers. Yeah. But you go 0-8 with 11 blown saves, you better pull together down in that bullpen.
In fact, Charlie Manuel told us that this group was the best group of players he's ever had together in any Major League Baseball locker room. And he's been around a lot of them. And the Phillies tonight are rolling merrily along. They lead by 6 after 4 innings and game through in their home ballpark as the middle of the Dodger order is coming up. crowd at Citizens Bank Park was rocking and rolling early. But like Cliff Lee against these Dodger bats, they've sort of been lulled into a slumber with a 6-0 advantage heading to inning number 5 tonight. Manny Ramirez has the only Dodger hit. And he flips the bat toward right. Long run Worth can't get there, and Manny Ramirez is 2 for 2. That's an important sign, Buck, for this Dodger ball club, as Manny Ramirez takes the ball up the middle his first time and dumps the ball the other way here in the 5th.
Yeah, as Joe Torre has said throughout this series, Manny needs to let the ball come to him. He can't force the issue. Hit poles on the inside part of the plate. And he's gotten pitches out over the plate, not try to do too much with them, and obviously they need base runners right now.
Matt Kemp popped up his first time, so he's 0 for 1. The subtle lineup change made by Joe Torre tonight moved Ronnie Belliard into the number 2 hole so that he could keep Matt Kemp and his power in the middle of the attack to protect Manny Ramirez and James Loney, the man that waits on deck. Hiroki Kuroda started and was hit very, very hard. 6 runs in an inning and 1/3. And out of play foul, quickly 2 strikes to center fielder Matt Kemp.
Well, I think we all agree that when you're down this many runs, you want to kind of pick at the other team, score a few runs here or there, but the later you get, the more important that you're going to need a long ball to get back in the ball game.
Lee has been very economical. 1 more man than the minimum, at least to this point. As Kemp, a ball and 2 strikes.
You can bet the Dodgers know exactly what they have to do. They have to get runners on base, but Cliff Lee's throwing strike ones. He's staying on top of the Dodger hitters. He's crowding them, and he's got that mindset of discounting the 6-run lead and just trying to make good pitches, pitch after pitch. Still working quickly, keeping the pressure on the Dodger hitters.
And if you're asking Lee to help you out with the base on balls, that's probably not going to happen. In regular season, he walked only 43 men in over 231 innings. And Kemp goes fishing and is down swinging. That is the 5th strikeout of the game. 1 on and 1 man down. And aerial coverage of tonight's Game 3 is brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. Here's James Loney. He bounced into a 3-6-3 double play in an identical situation in the 2nd inning. It was Manny Ramirez aboard, and Loney rolled to Ryan Howard. We talked early in this series about the improvements defensively that Ryan Howard has made for the Phillies this season. Only 5 fewer errors this year than last, but boy, much more smooth at first base.
Well, James Loney, the batter up, he doesn't have to really work too much on his defense, but great thing about Howard is that, you know, he's trying to make himself even better, and I don't know how you can make him much better. 45 and 141 this year.
Ground ball right side. Utley goes to second and forces Manny Ramirez, who thought about a takeout slide but never got to the bag. Loney at first with 2 outs.
Well, Manny Ramirez is running at first base, and Chase Utley knows exactly where he is when he catches the ball, so he's got plenty of time to get Manny. And they get the lead runner. Just an opportunity to take a runner out of scoring position, and Manny Ramirez is cut down by the force out.
And that'll bring up Casey Blake, who struck out on a big breaking ball, leading off the Dodger 3rd.
Very interesting, right? See Utley make that play. That was a strong throw, one of the few he's made early in this postseason games against the Dodgers. But knowing your runner, knew he had enough time, and unlike the game last night for you guys, if you were watching that championship series, a good play.
Rollins to first. Lee continues to roll. He's in the middle of the 5th inning of Game 3 with a gigantic lead of 6-0.
Give him tell him I'll give him a bat later. Yeah, give him down. Hey, give him down.
That was Shane Victorino 1 inning ago. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, first of all, I want to say everybody's all right after the bat from Shane Victorino came into the stands. It came like a helicopter, came over, hit Ryan right here, then hit his father in the head. That's Spence Knightley. Came over and gave John Edwards a black eye. Ended up all the way down to the other end to Jerry Loke. Now, the only person that went to assistance, I'm sitting in his seat, that is Spence Knightley. He went back there. He says he's all right, but he's being looked at for precautions. He's been a season ticket holder for a couple of decades. He said, I'll be back there, and I want a bat from Shane Victorino as well. But everybody's all right. Nobody got hurt seriously, and Shane Victorino lost one bat. Looks like he ought to give another one to the season ticket holder, Spence Knightley, who's I'm sitting in his seat. Chip?
Tough crowd, Craig. You better get out of that seat in a hurry. But glad to see everybody's all right here at Citizens Bank Park with Ryan Howard up in the 5th inning for Philadelphia. As you see, a big lead of 6-0. How about Sags getting all the names right?
He's got the Velvet Fog Mel Torme jacket working today.
Where's the
Very
pipe?
nice.
Well, now he's got himself a big list that he's going to have to get bats from Shane Victorino and take them back up into the stands.
Very nice.
When Craig's not working with us, he's considering a mayoral run here in Philadelphia. A foul ball off the bat of Ryan Howard. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Billingsley buzzes that ball inside and runs the count full. at 3-2. Ryan Howard, 12 RBIs in this postseason, 3 of them tonight. And an RBI at all 7 postseason games in this 2009 playoff run for the Phillies so far. And that ball is hit high in the air to right, but it's playable for Ethier and shy of the track. Howard is out number 1.
Well, Chad Billingsley continues to do just exactly what Joe Torre needs. Rack up the outs. He's only allowed 1 batter to reach, and that was a base on balls to Victorino in the 4th. Came on with 2 outs in the 2nd inning in relief of Hiroki Kuroda. He's given him some length. He's given him the innings they need right now just to preserve the rest of that bullpen, if nothing else.
Jason Worth is the hitter, a 2-run homer in the 1st inning. Jason out of Springfield, Illinois. Phillies signed him as a free agent after the 2006 season. Was traded to the Dodgers in March of 2004.
First inning with a man aboard. Jason Worth gets a fastball out over the plate and hits it to deep center field. His 3rd postseason home run this year. And he has really developed into an impact player here with Philadelphia. His grandfather, Dick Schofield, longtime infielder. His uncle, of course, Dick Schofield Jr., also very talented infielder, played a lot of years with the California Angels.
Popped up right side and into the seats where Craig Sager was just a moment ago.
Jason Worth, a terrific athlete, former #1 pick of the Baltimore Orioles, was signed as a catcher. And then went to Toronto in a trade. We had him in Toronto as a catcher, and you could just tell that he had so much athletic ability, and at 6'5", he was having trouble behind the plate, so there was no hesitation whatsoever. Put him in the outfield, take advantage of his athleticism. Well, boy, he has blossomed.
Swing and a miss takes care of Jason Worth. 2 men up and 2 men down. That move from behind the plate to the outfield is not without precedent. Remember a guy by the name of Dale Murphy? Turned in a couple of MVP seasons with the Braves when he had trouble behind the plate. Moved to center field. That's a spot where Braves manager Bobby Cox has said Jason Worth could play there for just about any major league team, not just right for these Phillies. That speaks to the athleticism and the speed that Worth possesses.
Dale Murphy was probably my generation of player, favorite player to play against. If he had a home run against you, put his head down almost like he was embarrassed to hit one off you. Never showed anyone up, and just an outstanding, was he 82 MVP?
Indeed he was. 2 balls, no strikes. To Raul Ibanez, and that's low and away. It's 3-0. Quietly tonight, Billingsley in relief is pitching very, very effectively. He's allowed just 1 base runner, has not allowed a Philadelphia hit. Dale Murphy was not only the MVP in 1982, he was the MVP in 1983. Back-to-back MVP campaigns for the Atlanta Braves, who at that time were managed by
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre. 3 balls and a strike. Billingsley's spot is due second in the top of the 6th inning. No movement at all in that Dodger bullpen, down 6-0. They may be stretching him out for a later start as he issues a 2-out walk to Ibanez, second of the night for him. And Pedro Feliz, looking for his first hit of this 2009 National League Championship Series, is in the batter's box. He's 0 for 8. Ball is driven high in the air, right center field and deep. Ethier leaps at the scoreboard, can't make the play. Ibanez will score. Feliz on his way to third. It's a triple.
Pedro Feliz breaks into the hit column, gets a high breaking ball here. Ball stays up out over the plate. Not trying to do too much with it, takes it the other way, and it really rides in this cool night air all the way off to the scoreboard in right field. Ethier jump, couldn't make a play on it, and it's a second triple tonight for the Phillies.
So the 2-out walk costs the Dodgers a 7th run tonight. And now Ruiz hits with a runner at third and 2 outs. And that's in for a called strike. Just to retouch what you said earlier about Rich Doobie telling us of the talent of Carlos Ruiz. When you compare this kid to Yadier Molina of the Cardinals, you know just about everything there is to know about catching. That is incredible praise.
Yeah, it sure is. And that's Doobie's assessment of the work that he gets from Ruiz behind the plate. He's a converted infielder that has moved back behind the plate. And it's taken him a while to really gain the confidence to be the leader that they need for this pitching staff. He's always had a decent bat, but they felt like he could really get behind the plate and understand what it takes to be a catcher. You've got to call a game. You've got to have a little bit of psychologist in you. You got to be able to earn the respect of your pitching staff, and Ruiz has done all of that.
Driven into right center field. Another hit against this Dodgers staff for Ruiz. He is something. He's 5 for 8 with 4 RBIs in the first 3 games, and it's 8-0.
This is what you do with a hanging curveball. You swing at it, you don't take it. And boy, he tomahawked it. Maybe a ball upstairs, but he's on fire right now. He saw it, his eyes lit up, and he drives in another run.
He's 5 for 8 now with runners in scoring position in this postseason. And remember, he's the 8th place hitter in a National League lineup. When your 8th place hitter is doing that kind of damage, your offense is really humming, and the Phillies is so far in this series. 8 runs on 8 hits in Game 3.
You talked about Ruiz taking more of a role. It's so vital, the catching position, and all the good ones I've ever met are not always the most well-liked on the team, but they are always the most well-respected on the team. And that's the key for any catcher who's going to be the quarterback of a good ball club.
Well, pitchers want to know that the catcher has his game in mind, that he's thinking about you as a pitcher. You don't want him thinking about his 0 for 4. You don't want him thinking about striking out a couple of times. You want him thinking about calling a good game for you, and that's what these guys do.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Cliff Lee, and he is down swinging. 2-out magic again for the Phillies in the 5th inning. A 2-out walk to Raul Ibanez. Pedro Feliz bangs a ball off the scoreboard in right center. Carlos Ruiz tomahawks another fastball. 2 more across in the 5th, and it's all Philadelphia at home. shutout here in Game 3. Enjoying Major League Baseball and helping our returning veterans. Log on to MLB.com or welcomebackveterans.org for more information on how you can make a difference. A scintillating game from the native of Benton, Arkansas. 31-year-old left-hander Cliff Lee faces the 8-9-1 Dodger hitters.
Cliff Lee now, after 5 innings of scoreless ball, 21 1/3 innings of postseason pitching and just 2 earned runs. 3 walks and he's punched out 15. And I got to believe he likes pitching in the postseason. His first taste of it here with Philadelphia.
And remember, we talked in the open around the trade deadline. Everybody in baseball knew the Phillies were out trying to find a starter. And their focus was on Roy Halladay of the Toronto Blue Jays. Everyone thought that the Phillies were going to make the deal with Toronto. That didn't happen. Instead, they turned their focus to Cliff Lee and gave up a lot of good prospects to bring in the former Cy Young Award winner to Philadelphia.
Yeah, they gave up 4 good players. Carlos Carrasco, a pitcher. Jason Knapp, a real power pitching prospect. And a shortstop, Jason Donnell, and Lou Marson, a catcher. And all of those players figure prominent in the future of the Cleveland Indians.
Driven down the right field line by Russell Martin and into this sellout crowd. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But what they were able to do is they were able to keep Jay Happ here in Philadelphia, a player on their roster, and a player they think is going to be on their roster very soon in Kyle Drabek, of course, the son of the former outstanding pitcher of the Pirates, Doug Drabek.
What you think about this Philadelphia rotation? You have Happ, you have Lee, you have Hamels. 3 very talented left-handers when in rotation. They can neutralize the big boppers from the left side with the best of them.
And that's the challenge for good organizations, to continue to get young, stay young. Young stars like Cole Hamels, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, and then bring your prospects up from your organization.
High pop fly into shallow right. Utley drifts back. Worth calls him off. Martin pops out. And 1 away. Chad Billingsley will be taken down for the O-Dog, as they call him in Los Angeles, Orlando Hudson.
It'll be interesting for the Phillies next season. Will be at a time this year before Pedro Martinez was inserted into the starting rotation. You had 4 left-handers starting with Hap, Hamels, of course Lee pitching tonight, and Jamie Moyer. So that's something you usually don't see in a rotation, that top heavy with left-handed starters.
I'd take 5 if they're all good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Spoken like a true manager.
That's
Wouldn't
right.
expect anything different.
No, it doesn't make a difference. There's Jamie Moyer, who unfortunately suffered that groin injury, and he is not available, and certainly a big influence on this team. Not only with the pitchers, but also with the catcher. Being able to go over game plans and talk about pitch selection and setting up hitters. Moyer's experience is invaluable on this ball club.
This is also a Philly club that lost Brett Myers to an injury early this season. He came back and pitched in September. A fly ball to right. Worth will backtrack. Hudson is the second out in the 6th inning of play, and it's going to be Joe Blanton in game 4 for Philadelphia. Randy Wolf, a former Philly, pitching for the Dodgers, and with all the good work that those left-handed starters have done for the Phillies, I think it's safe to say that Blanton may have been the most consistent starter for Philadelphia all year this year.
He really was. If you talk to the people that followed this team, his record should have been much better than 12-8. And also, if you talk to Charlie Manuel, he stresses that Blanton really, until Lee came, was the guy that went deep into ball games and saved that bullpen every 5th day.
So Blanton versus Wolf here tomorrow night. Weather expected to be a little warmer. But folks, it's still October in Philadelphia. It's not going to be nearly as comfortable as it was in Los Angeles a couple of days ago. Tough night for the Dodgers. Just 2 hits. They're down 8-0.
Well, Randy Wolf opened up this ballpark. He was pitching for the Phillies. He got the call to be the starter in the opening game in this new ballpark, so he knows this place very well, and I'm sure he's anxious to give the Dodgers a chance to even this series should this score stand up.
And the The way Cliff Lee's pitching, it looks like this score is going to stand up. 3 up, 3 down, middle of the 6th inning. The 2-hit shutout bid continues. Adage in our sport, good pitching gets out good hitting. Think about, folks, where the Dodgers ranked in the National League offensively. They have just 2 hits tonight after leading the National League in hitting during the regular season. And now Ramon Troncoso is on as the 4th Dodger pitcher to work in tonight's game. Hiroki Kuroda started. 6 runs, 6 hits in an inning and a third. Scott Elbert walked 2 in his 1/3 of 1 inning. And Chad Billingsley 2 runs in 3 innings and a third.
Troncoso's second appearance in this series. He came in to get the final out of that 5th inning of Game 1 when the Dodgers scored 5 runs on 3 hits, and the only batter he faced was Jason Worth. He got him to pop up to end the inning.
Another one of those power pitchers, Ronnie, you were talking about earlier in tonight's game.
Yeah, well, he was tied with Jonathan Broxton for the team lead with 73 appearances during the regular season. But he worked 82 and 2/3 innings, which was second in the National League to Milwaukee's Todd Coffey. So a real workhorse for this Dodger team.
Well, Joe Torre had to utilize the bullpen a lot because he didn't have starters to pitch deep into a ball game. And he's always been a guy that will use his bullpen to close out ball games. He did that in New York when he had those World Series championship teams, and he's just a product of what he has. If you don't have starters that can give you 7 innings every night out, you're going to use 3 and 4 relievers a night.
And he's got to do it again tonight in Game 3 of this series, trailing 8-0. And looking ahead to Game 4, Randy Wolf will take the ball for him against his former team. And Joe Blanton. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases clear for Rollins. And a good pitch over the inside corner for the first out. Rollins 1 for 4 tonight. 1 away for Shane Victorino.
Bullpen innings, Dodgers second to the San Diego Padres. But what Joe Torre did with his team, he spread the workload out pretty evenly throughout the course of the year. He didn't really have to lean on too many guys. Then they got George Sherrill halfway through the season from the Orioles to add some left-handed depth. Ronald Belisario went on a deal with a little bit of an elbow problem mid-season, but boy, since he's come back, he's pitched great. So they got a lot of power arms down there, and Joe's really been conscientious about making sure everybody gets appropriate rest, and they've just spread the workload.
Yeah, there were some who thought that maybe the Giants would catch the Dodgers in that National League Western Division race because of all the power arms and the length of games that guys like Kane and Lincecum would pitch for Bruce Bochy's ball club. But it wasn't the Giants that gave the Dodgers the scare for the division title. It was Jim Tracy's Colorado Rockies that took them to the final weekend.
Well, the difference is the Dodgers won their division. Sandwiched around them were San Diego and Milwaukee. Teams did not have good seasons. When you do not have good seasons, you pitch a lot of innings out of the bullpen.
That's a scene we have seen throughout this postseason. Ryan Howard, almost statuesque and in deep concentration, contemplating another at bat. And whatever he's thinking about is working, because he is having an unbelievable postseason run so far for these Phillies.
He's visualizing doubles and triples.
I asked him about it today. I was talking about what he does before those at-bats when he's deep in thought, and he said he's just trying to erase the previous at-bat. Whether it was a good at-bat or a bad at-bat, it doesn't matter. Trying to stay in the moment, as all athletes aspire to do.
Yeah, Ryan was quoted as saying, "I'm in chill mode." How appropriate is that on a night like tonight? Shane Victorino's been on base 3 times again tonight. And this time he'll helicopter his way to the Philly dugout as Troncoso comes in throwing smoke. 2 strikeouts to start the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's Utley. Chase singled and scored in the first, walked in the second, grounded out in the 4th inning. Pretty remarkable year for a man the Phillies were very concerned about in spring training with that hip problem.
Yeah, he had hip surgery in the offseason, and his spring training was really abbreviated. He didn't come in and play. He didn't start playing games until about 10 days before the start of the regular season. So he didn't get a chance to really put down the foundation of spring training with regular infield work, all those extra at-bats you like to get in the spring. Most big league players like to get about 65 to 75 at-bats during spring training. Because he was coming back from the hip surgery, he didn't have that chance.
And with the good fortune that Philadelphia had to win the World Series last year, his offseason was even shorter. And that ball is hit a long way. Straight away center field. Kemp, track, wall, just enough room. Wind not much of a factor on that shot. It died down at contact, and Matt Kemp to the center field fence retires the side.
so us in the booth thought it'd be hard to have mastery over all your pitches on a night like this, so chilly. Cliff Lee, of course, who started in Colorado in the same kind of temperature, was outstanding tonight. Just had all of his pitches working, from his fastball, his change, even that big curveball.
Man, it doesn't hurt that he was spotted a 4-run lead in the first inning. He really zeroed in on the strike zone early.
Ground ball right side. Look at Utley give chase as Belliard reaches. Leading off the 7th inning. Are you concerned I guess you have to be concerned with the way the Dodgers have swung the bats the last couple of ball games against these Phillies.
Well, it's nice to see them get a leadoff hitter. We're looking at the first 6 innings here, retired in order in 4 of the 6 innings. That's not a good sign. Have not had an extra base hit now in 16 innings. That's not a good sign.
But the 3rd time tonight the leadoff man is on. First time it's somebody other than Manny Ramirez. As Cliff Lee approaching 90 pitches on this cold night. Another 0 walk performance for him to this point.
Yeah, and Pedro Martinez, 7 innings of 2-hit ball in his outing in game 2. I mean, they're dealing with some pretty efficient pitchers.
Were you surprised Charlie Manuel was hearing comments that he overmanaged game 2 out in Los Angeles?
Yes, especially the fact that Pedro hasn't pitched much. I mean, if you would have gone into that game and gone into Charlie's office before the game and said, Charlie, I'll give you 5 innings from Pedro, no runs and 2 hits, he'd have said, yeah, I'll take it right now. But he got 7. And at that point, it was 93 degrees. Pedro was rusty. He gave you everything he had. Charlie walked down and says, Pedro, that's it. And Charlie's words, he was done. And when you think about it, it was an error and a bases loaded walk that led to their loss.
And Charlie said to us before the game there was a reason he used 5 pitchers to try to get out of that nightmarish 8th inning out in Los Angeles. He was trying to keep the game tied and just get out of that frame by playing matchup, which is what, Ronnie, he's had to do all year long.
Well, and for a lot of the talk out there that the Phillies had that game in their back pocket and should have won it, it was 1-0. I've never seen a game 1-0 in anyone's back pocket with 2 innings to go.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a slow roller hit out toward Utley at second. And he'll take the sure play at first. And that was a good stiff throw from Utley to retire Andre Ethier. Belliard to second now with 1 out.
Yeah, all you want to do at this point in the game if you're the Phillies is get outs. Just tick off the outs. Dodgers are running out of opportunities.
Manny Ramirez lustily booed as he steps into the batter's box. If there is a positive sign for the Dodgers is that Manny's using the center field portion of the diamond and right field on his 2-for-2 night. Ronnie Belliard, to give you an idea of how dominant Cliff Lee has been tonight, is the first man to touch second base for the Los Angeles offense. Tonight it's the 7th inning with 1 out. He leads, does Cliff Lee, 8-0. That's pulled foul by Ramirez. 1 ball and 1 strike. Manny Ramirez with 32 career RBIs in League Championship Series play. 1 behind Bernie Williams.
Watch Manny Ramirez on the follow through here. Great follow through, long extension, and he hits Ruiz right on the top of that helmet. And that's exactly why you put that batter's helmet on underneath that catcher's mask.
How did you guys do it with the hat on backward in the day, Buck?
We got knots on our heads. But for all you kids that are aspiring catchers, make sure you put those catcher's masks on. And a lot of youth leagues use those hockey-style masks, but this is the old flapless batting helmet that a lot of catchers will wear underneath their catcher's mask.
Manny taking all the way. Concedes a second strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. just missed.
I tell you what, if there's anybody that is more relaxed than Manny Ramirez in a postseason atmosphere, I want to meet him. I mean, nothing rattles him. I mean, you can strike him out. He can pop up 3 times. He just doesn't get rattled. The Dodgers have been stymied by the Phillies in these runners in scoring position situations. They just haven't been able to come up with a clutch hit. This certainly wouldn't be what you'd characterize as a clutch hit.
And boy, Ruiz is taking some punishment behind the plate. He had a foul ball rocket off his mask earlier tonight. That one off the bat of Ramirez, and Manny also with a long looping swing, as we saw in this 7th inning sequence, popped him on top of the catcher's helmet.
Well, you can't get too far behind the batter even when he has a backswing, because you change the perspective for the umpire. You push him to a point where he's getting a different angle on the strike zone, so you got to stay as close as possible. What you have to make sure you do is don't reach out and get in that path of that swing.
It's an 8-0 game. You mentioned this isn't really one of those clutch RBI situations, but man, the Dodgers need something positive to happen in this game. Get a little momentum going back their way. And Manny looks inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes with Buck Martinez, Ron Darling, and Craig Sager. Chip Carey with you from Philadelphia. Cold night, but Cliff Lee and the Philly offense red hot. My name is Chip Carey. This is Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Phillies bidding to take a 2-1 advantage. What a pitch! What a pitch to strike out Manny Ramirez.
Well, this is what you call pitching. He's been doing it all night. The pitch sequence, the Manny Ramirez, little cutter down, came back with a fastball that's fouled. Again, Manny oddly taking that pitch, just missed with a backdoor curveball, another fastball down, goes to 3-2 and mixes in a little changeup on the 3-2 pitch.
And now Matt Kemp, the final Dodger hope in this 7th inning.
Yeah, you can't fault Cliff Lee for falling over with his fastball. He's used all of his pitches and mixed them very effectively.
He's doing what Kuroda was hoping to do as the Dodger starter, but just never got on track tonight. Driven down the right field line and out of play, foul to Matt Kemp, the Dodgers center fielder. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The only run he gave up in the complete game he threw against Colorado came on a Troy Tulowitzki 2-out double in the 9th inning.
And that's in the dirt. Good stop by Carlos Ruiz. Buck, we talked with Joe Torre about this Dodger offense. He said at the start of this series that they're not going to wait around and hope that Manny Ramirez provides all the offensive fireworks. They didn't do it during his 50-game suspension. They played very well, but they just have not been able to get on track yet against the Phillies.
You made a great point about good pitching shutting down good hitting, and boy, the last 2 starts for Philadelphia have been phenomenal. But Matt Kemp, who got off to a great start, homered in his first at bat, not much since then.
If he's missing by the width of the laces on the baseball. That was close. 3-2.
3-2 changeup to Manny for the strikeout. Does he go to it again?
Powder River. And this city knows a thing or two about great left-handed starting pitchers. None better than Steve Carlton. Cliff Lee dealing tonight in Game 3. We are back in the fighting city of Philadelphia, 8-0. Phillies in front in Game 3, and with Buck Martinez and Ron Darling, I'm Chip Carey. Looks like the Phillies behind Cliff Lee are about to deliver the knockout blow in this swing game, as Joe Torre called it, the first of 3 that will be played in this ballpark in this 2009 NLCS.
Well, you have to know Cliff Lee is really anxious to continue to pitch well in this postseason. In 2007, when his Cleveland Indians went to the postseason, he wasn't on any of their playoff rosters because he was hurt. This is his first opportunity in the postseason.
And you think of Lee, if this series gets pushed, he could pitch on regular day rest on his regular day on Friday, or he could pitch with an extra day's rest for Game 7. So he might be pushed a little bit here in this Game 3.
Well, the seams have been spinning very well for Cliff Lee tonight in Game 3, and everything going right for the Philadelphia offense, and it got started in the very first inning of tonight's game.
Well, Ryan Howard decided he was a track star and drove in a couple with a triple, and then Jason Worth with this long home run to center field.
That made it 4-0 after 1. Second inning of play. Phillies were right back at it. Jimmy Rollins with an RBI double. Then Ryan Howard, a ground out, brought home the second run of that frame. Then 2 more runs across in the 5th inning. A triple by Feliz, a single by Ruiz. Again, the 8th place hitter doing a lot of damage for the Phils. And that's the 8th and final run scored tonight on what has been a very bittersweet night for Philadelphia sports fans. How about that?
Phillies scored 8 here tonight. The Eagles, they only outscored them by a point. They lost to the Raiders out in Oakland.
Good or bad, Chip?
Well, if you're a football fan, that's not so good.
It's good if you're a Raider fan.
Yeah, you're great.
Right?
It's great if you're a Raider
They've
fan.
been very rare for that organization.
So Ryan Howard will start things off. 3 RBIs in his first 2 at-bats. Poso continues to work for Los Angeles. This will be his 2nd inning of tonight's play. Game 4 here tomorrow night. Randy Wolf, Joe Blanton will pitch. And if this score holds, the Dodgers will try to even the series at 2 games apiece. And outside, 3 balls, no strikes. Remember, as Ryan Howard, the young slugging star in the Phillies minor leagues that was roadblocked by Jim Thome here in Philadelphia. And Thome went over to the American League, and Ryan Howard came on and has not stopped slugging since. He's aboard, leading off his 7th inning. You can catch the American League Championship Series. That'll be Game 3, the Yankees and the Angels. That's tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern on Fox. That is if Joe Buck and Tim McCarver have thawed out. And the Yankees lead that series 2-0. And Buck, you talked about at the start of this game here in Philadelphia how mistakes cost you. The Angels have not fielded the baseball well at all, and the Yankees have taken advantage of virtually every mistake the Halos have made so far.
Now that's what happens in the postseason because all the teams are so well matched and they're all good ball clubs. You give them an opportunity and they're going to take advantage of it. Tonight, Kuroda didn't have his command, and the Phillies were able to put a 4 spot with the triple by Howard and Jason Wirth's long home run to center.
Jason Wirth is the hitter and takes downstairs ball 2. It'll be Andy Pettitte for the Yankees. Jared Weaver, who had a marvelous year in regular season for the Angels.
Well, Jared Weaver really came into his own this season with those 16 wins. We got to watch Andy Pettitte pitch against the Twins, and like every postseason game, he usually gets the win, and he usually pitches well, 6 1/3 against those Twins.
And no matter how well Weaver pitches, if his defense doesn't pick it up, it's going to be a tough night for that Los Angeles club. To put it in perspective, the Dodgers, Phillies, and Yankees have combined to commit 7 errors in postseason play. The Angels have made 6 here in 2009.
Very unlike a Mike Scioscia team. They just don't make many errors. But Jared Weaver, 7 1/3 a 2-hit ball against Boston in Game 2 of that division series, and he certainly has the stuff to get this Angel team back into the series. But well, boy, you got to cool off a red-hot Yankee team right now.
And Alex Rodriguez, another homer in postseason play, another big hit. That against the Angels in New York last night. And I think that was the big question mark for the Yankees. How would A-Rod do after so many frustrating postseasons? If he continues to hit, how does anybody stop New York? Wirth will head back to the plate. He thought he earned ball 4. Instead, it's a full count.
I didn't think he went. What do you see, Buck?
Well, it's a tough call for an umpire. It looked like he checked him plenty of time. He had no doubts in his mind. He was halfway up the line to first. Ted Barrett at first base said, nope, he went after it.
Even the umpires have those newfangled cold weather hats.
Well, they never get to go in between
That's
innings
right.
and sit down in the dugout, get warmed up.
3-2 pitch. And a bouncing ball, foul. Good play by Casey Blake. But we will do it again with Ryan Howard back at first base. Nice easy night for the Philly fanatic. His club leads 8-0.
You know, we were talking earlier about when we started this game about the Phillies, how they would come back after making some errors late in the game to give that game maybe to the Dodgers. It's going to be interesting to see the Dodgers come back from this drubbing here tonight so far. And I think it's a little easier, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but but it's a little easier when your starting pitcher didn't have anything and the game is so lopsided. You just say, you know what, it's just one loss, come back and get them tomorrow.
That's the beauty of a 7-game series. You're playing a 5-game series. There's a greater sense of urgency with every loss.
Worth makes sure that's out of the strike zone, and Troncoso now with back-to-back walks. That's 6 more walks issued by the Dodgers pitchers in tonight's Game 3. And Rick Honeycutt another trip.
Well, what Honeycutt's trying to do right now is make sure they don't go any deeper into their bullpen. Just save all of the bullets they have down there for tomorrow's game at this point and try to get Troncoso through this.
So 2 men on, nobody out here in the Phillies half of the 7th inning. Our aerial coverage tonight is brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. Yes, it's cold. Yes, it's a little breezy, but the weather forecast for tonight's ball game was absolutely miserable. There was a big-time threat of rain in Philadelphia, and that has stopped as of last night. Just a little bit of drizzle this morning, nothing major, and forecast improves rapidly beginning tomorrow afternoon for Game 4.
Well, same last night with the Yankee game. Yankee Angels were supposed to have no chance to play that game. Not only did they play it, played 13 innings of it.
Here's Ibanez. He is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. And Raul looks at a strike. Ibanez got his first taste of big league life in 1996 with Seattle when he played 4 games for them. 11 games in 97, 37 games in 98, 87 games in 99, 92 games in 2000, then was sent to Kansas City. You're up and down in the big leagues that long, you wonder if you're ever going to get a chance to be a regular player. And only after Ibanez went to the Royals, they get a chance to play every day, and that was in 2003, where he got 608 at-bats and hit 18 homers.
Yeah, and you know, he's admired by all players around baseball for his work ethic. He really dedicates himself in the offseason to get in great shape and prepare for the 6-month rigors of the baseball season, and he's really been able to play at a high level late in his career. He's 37 years old, but never ever gives you the impression that he's slowing down.
No. Phillies signed him in December of last year, 3-year contract through the 2011 season. And as we said earlier, hit 20 homers faster than any Philly in history. Did that in 56 games this year before getting hurt. And now the count to him, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
If I were the pitching coach, though, Rick Honeycutt, the thing that would alarm me is that, of course, you had the nice job by Padilla in the last game. Will be 7 walks in the first game. You have 6 more tonight against this Philly team. LA 14 total so far in this series. Philadelphia only 5.
And with the speed and power that this ball club has up and down the lineup, they can beat you with a stolen base. They can beat you going first to third. We all know they can hit the ball to the gaps and hit it out of the ballpark. You can live with the solo shots, but not the 2- and 3-run bombs that we've seen the Phillies hit against the Dodgers.
Absolutely no defense for the base on balls, and it drives managers crazy to sit there and watch these powerful arms put Philly base runners on with free passes.
And an overpowering fastball takes care of Raul Ibanez. 2 on, 1 out as we again check in with Craig Sager.
Well, the story of this game unraveling early when Hiroki Kuroda, the starter for the Dodgers, could not get past the 2nd inning, giving up 6 runs. Joe Torre, who saw Kuroda pitching that instructional league game on Tuesday, immediately wanted to know if he was all right. Through a Japanese interpreter named Kenji, who travels with the team, Kuroda said, "Yes, I feel fine. I felt great in the bullpen session. The 2-seamer was working good. The fastball was rising." He said, "I got to the mound. I just had no command over my pitches." He said, "My arm feels fine. My neck is fine. My arm feels fine. I'm just sorry I couldn't get through that 2nd inning." Back to you, Chip.
All right, Craig, thank you. And then again, a product of Kuroda not pitching in a big league game since September 28th. And he had an oblique problem earlier this year. He had the concussion, quite obviously. That was the line drive in Phoenix that hit him in the head. and the neck problem in Pittsburgh.
Well, for this Dodger team, after the game when Joe Torre and his staff are sitting down with a cold one, there might be more talk about Mr. Billingsley than there will be about Kuroda's effort tonight.
Yeah, the next time around, should they get an opportunity in a potential Game 7, you're not going to go out there wondering what you're going to get. You're going to have a pretty good idea what you're going to get. And I don't think they saw enough Kuroda to have a real good sense for what he is going to bring to the table next time out.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Pedro Feliz, who tripled off the right field scoreboard. That was in the 5th. That chased home Raul Ibanez, who had walked with 2 outs. Ground ball toward Blake. There's one at second, and the throw to first in plenty of time, and that retires the side. To the 8th inning we go, and 8's the magic number for the Phillies. They lead the Dodgers 8-0. Presented by Budweiser. And a manager's best bud is an outstanding starting effort. Cliff Lee has thrown a 3-hitter to this point. Through 7, Ben Francisco takes over in left for Raul Ibanez. And in the Dodger 8th, it'll be James Loney, Casey Blake, and Russell Martin. Manny Ramirez 2 singles, Ronnie Belliard a single. That is the sum total of the Dodger offense tonight. Lee has not walked a man. He has struck out 8. And still very good velocity, but he misses high. Ball 1 to James Loney. Hit into a double play and reached on a force play in the 5th.
Well, Buck, you were talking earlier about Randy Wolf and opening up this ballpark. We probably envisioned in that day that he was going to pitch some important games for the Phillies in this ballpark in the postseason. Who knew his biggest game in the postseason would be for the Dodgers in this ballpark?
Think the Wolfpack will be out?
That'll be interesting, right?
Yeah. They say they're going to come out, but they're going to be incognito.
Very nice.
Yeah. They better be. As the count now to Loney, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And for more on the Wolfpack, let's check in with Greg.
Well, we were talking to Randy Wolf before the game about that Wolfpack. He said, you know, it started my first start in 1999. There were about 3 or 4, but then it seemed to grow, especially when I had my All-Star year. He said they became a great family. They took me in, made me feel really welcome. That's not easy in a tough city like Philly. They said they were great to me. I appreciate all the support they've given me, even to this day. I talked to a few of them when I came in here, saw them yesterday, and yes, Buck's right, they will be incognito tomorrow night.
Not a surprise. Wonder if the Padilla Flotilla will make an appearance too. As Vicente pitching for the Los Angeles Ball Club. 9 strikeouts, by the way, for Cliff Lee. 3 men in a row he has punched out. Here's Blake 0 for 2. And 1 for 10 in this series against the Phillies.
Pretty remarkable the way Cliff Lee has mastered this Dodger lineup, given the fact it's cold, your hands get slick. He's had a good breaking ball all night. He's had great command. He's been able to change speeds. He's truly been in the driver's seat from the first pitch of this ball game.
In the air to right center field, drifting out toward right, and Worth is there. And really the storyline is not necessarily just the Philadelphia offense, guys, but the men starting these ball games in this series.
Look at Cole Hamels, the game 1 starter, and he was victimized by some shaky defense. But then Pedro Martinez and Cliff Lee, they have absolutely shut down the Dodgers. 5 hits in 14 2/3 innings now, and no earned runs allowed by Martinez and Lee.
Here's Martin. And Russell looks at the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. He's tapped to the mound and popped to right.
Again, you have to give the front office of the Phillies an awful lot of credit. Both Cliff Lee and Pedro Martinez weren't with the team even halfway through the season.
Yet here they are, pitching dominant baseball against the best hitting team in the National League during the regular season, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And the starter for tomorrow's game, Joe Blanton, came halfway through last year. So you always got to be light on your feet.
One ball, 2 strikes. Simply amazing. His 10th strikeout sends this game to the bottom of the 8th. side of the middle. Don't miss Ray Romano in the new series premiere of Men of a Certain Age, December 7th at 10, 9 Central only on TNT. Couple of changes for the Dodgers. Mark Loretta is in defensively for Casey Blake at third base. And the new Los Angeles pitcher, he's the fourth man to work out of the bullpen tonight, and that's Ronald Belisario.
Belisario has been a great addition to this Dodger team. He's a guy that's been known to throw 100 miles an hour. Just never really stuck. And here the Dodgers had his best year in the big leagues.
And he will face a man who's been a royal pain for Los Angeles in this series. That's Carlos Ruiz. 2 more hits for him tonight, a run and an RBI. That makes him 5 for 7 with a homer and 4 knocked in the first 3 games of this National League Championship Series.
Look, I wonder if there's some of these catchers that catch a lot of ball games in the heat. Once they get to the postseason, maybe a little rejuvenation, maybe because of the weather conditions and also just some rest.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Plus the fact the excitement of playing in the postseason. I don't think they need it to be this cold to get rejuvenated, though. But both Martin and Ruiz catch every day, and catching over a 6-month period takes its toll on you. But at the same time, at this point of the season, they want to be back there for every inning.
Yeah, I was going to try to come into this game and mind over matter, just say I'm not getting cold tonight.
Yeah. Cliff Lee did it.
He did do it.
10 strikeouts for Lee on that Philadelphia mound. He's blanking the Dodgers on 3 hits tonight. And Belisario thought that was good enough. A little chirping from the Dodger dugout as the count runs full at 3-2. And another walk. 7 walks have been issued by Los Angeles in this game, and Martin now talking with Holbrook, and listen to the cheer for Cliff Lee. Hit. Is there anything Cliff Lee can't do tonight?
Well, what a game for Cliff Lee from the mound. Allowed just 3 hits, and now he strokes one up the middle. Maybe go ask him if he's wanted his jacket. I'm thinking, of course he wants his jacket.
He'd like a hot tea if he had one.
Sure. Make it 4. We'll take some upstairs. 9th Philadelphia hit. Here's Rollins. 2 on, nobody out. Wolf and Blanton, game 4 tomorrow. Rollins tonight. Doubled home run in the 2nd inning. He later scored. And takes the ball outside. 1-1 your count. Rollins on 1 time in 4 trips. Shane Victorino on 3 times. Chase Utley on twice. 7 walks issued to the Philadelphia batsman, and that's what we talked about earlier tonight. If you don't keep Rollins, Victorino, and Utley under control, the middle of this Philadelphia order will absolutely crush you.
In the first 2 games, the top 3 in the order only got on base 7 times, and they took care of that right out of the chute tonight.
Yeah, there were 4 for 26 were the top 3 hitters in this series coming in. And a good at bat by Jimmy Rollins moves Ruiz to third, lead is second for Victorino with 1 out. Two walks, a single, a steal, and a run for Victorino tonight. And he misses low and away with ball 1.
Think about Joe Torre's Dodgers. He said every time they got their backs up against the wall, they bounced back and they came off the rope swinging. San Francisco put a charge on them early. They took 2 out of 3 against San Francisco. Colorado made a charge at them late.
There's a drive, belted deep to right field, and Shane Victorino says aloha. Another 3-run homer hit by the Phillies in this series, and it's an 11-0 rout.
Belisario tried to come in to Victorino, and that's the kind of power this young man has, especially down the line here in Citizens Bank Park. Victorino had 10 home runs in the regular season, but he's hit some big ones in the last 2 postseasons.
So it's all Philadelphia tonight. You as a great starting pitcher, Ronnie, put yourself in the mind of Joe Blanton as he's sitting on that bench saying, okay, guys, can we save a couple of these for tomorrow in Game 4?
I don't think any starting pitcher thinks like that, because they like to see an offense on a roll, and if it gets on a roll, you feel you have a much better chance for them to do it again.
Now with Lee running the bases, and this game now 11-0, the Philly pen is up and working now.
Terrific sound to that crack of the bat for Victorino, and they've hit some long home runs. Worst went to center field, and that one was deep down the line in right.
And you just can't walk people if you want to beat the Phillies. You can't do it.
Well, what it does is it gives the hitters so many looks at pitches all night long. When you do throw one over, that's when they really have a chance to do some damage.
Just 2 1-2-3 innings turned in by the Dodgers staff in tonight's game. And another rocket hit past Belliard. Chase Utley has a 2-hit game. That's the 3rd hit of this inning. And back to Craig Sager.
Well, Chip, remember earlier we saw Shane Victorino lose control of the bat and went into the stands. One person was hurt but not seriously injured. Normally when that happens during a course of a game, the player may go up and offer to get the real bat back, and they'll put on the substitute bat. But Shane said, nah, you can keep that one. I got plenty more. Seems like the one he had in reserve worked out pretty good with that home run.
I'll say. Utley was sitting in the locker room before the game tonight, taking some practice swings with one of Jason Worth's bats in the Philadelphia clubhouse. And maybe some of that Worth magic worked for Victorino in this 8th inning of play, as he has his first home run against the Dodgers in this series at home tonight. Runner aboard for Ryan Howard. Howard 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs, had a triple as that ball gets away from Martin. Utley will move up to second base.
Pretty ugly inning here for Joe Torre. Base on balls, home runs, wild pitches. Wheels have fallen off. What you worry about as a manager is you're going to get the Phillies so hot nobody will be able to cool them off.
Well, when you walk this many hitters, you push a lot of runners into scoring position. Phillies so far this postseason batting over 400 with runners in scoring position.
Loney gives ground. Good play. Pitcher does his job. Utley to third. And now 2 men are out in this 8th inning. 11-0 Phillies in front. We invite you to stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Ernie, Cal, Eck, and Boomer are thawing out as we speak. They will have highlights from tonight's game. They'll have post-game reaction from their perch high above the second deck out in left center field. There they are. And yes, I thought Boomer looked an awful lot like the Edge during the pregame show.
The Edge?
Where's the hat? I think he took the hat off. Must be warming up out there. 1 ball, no strikes. And Worth is buzzed inside.
Way too late for any kind of nonsense. I don't think Belisari had any intent whatsoever.
Remember, he walked the leadoff man in this inning, so he's been plenty wild.
Yeah,
3-0.
The horse is out of the proverbial barn, isn't it?
Yeah.
What will Joe Torre say to his ball club after this game tonight? Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Nothing you can say. Got your ears pinned back. Get him tomorrow.
Rolled toward Loretta at third. Plays it off to the side. Low throw. Good scoop. And Jason Worth and the Phillies are retired in the 8th inning. A long 3-run homer from the flying Hawaiian Shane Victorino. And the Phillies are blowing out the Dodgers as we go to the 9th. tonight for Cliff Lee and the Phillies in Game 3. Chad Durbin takes over for the 9th inning and is ahead of Mark Loretta, the Dodger third baseman.
Chad Durbin, who mercifully was the last pitcher of the 5 in the 8th inning of Game 2 to pop up Ramirez and get the Phillies out of that inning. It's a shame in the back of your mind, if you're a starting pitcher, posting a complete game shutout or having a shot at one has really got to be something that you'd really like to do. But you can see how after a long inning.
Hard hit ball out to Francisco in left.
And there'll be more innings and more starts for Cliff Lee that'll be important down the road.
You can see his teammates appreciative of what he's done in this postseason with 8 innings of shutout ball tonight, 24 1/3 innings of postseason baseball with just 2 earned runs allowed by Cliff Lee. Double-digit strikeout night tonight.
So 1 man down at the 9th inning. Here's for call. Rafael, the Dodger leadoff man, hasn't been on much. Just 1 for 10 so far in the first 3 games of this series. And the count to him even now at a ball and a strike.
Cliff Lee's kind of taken over the role that Cole Hamels played so well last postseason. Dominant left-hander. Hamill won the MVP in the League Championship Series and the World Series. Cliff Lee's been nearly perfect in the postseason.
2 outs in the 9th inning. 11-0 Phillies, as our National League Championship Series coverage on TBS has been presented by Budweiser. And what's left of this gigantic crowd at Citizens Bank Park rises as one, starts to wave the white towels. Trying to warm up for the walk to the parking lot. As Belliard down a strike. He has one of Los Angeles's 3. Count them 3 hits, all of them singles tonight. And how dominant was Cliff Lee? Only 1 Dodger man reached second base tonight, and that didn't happen until the 7th inning. Jimmy Rollins thought that was strike 3. And that is just foul past third. Durbin's not wasting any time, is he? Get the ball, get the sign, and go right to work.
That's the approach Cliff Lee took, and it proved to be a very effective one. And to have 8 innings of 3-hit ball and not walk a batter is really impressive.
No Dodgers stepped out. He just got on a roll and stayed there.
Just got to wonder if the Dodger bats are going to wake up. Cliff Lee shut him down tonight. Pedro Martinez shut him down on Friday afternoon.
Dodgers have 2 runs on 8 hits in the last 2 games. 2 runs on 8 hits.
And this is the team that led the National League in hitting.
So, yes, Kuroda did not pitch well tonight. But the Dodger offense hasn't held up its end of the bargain yet. No extra base hits for the Los Angeles hitters in their last 19 innings. And they'll face a very tough man in Joe Blanton at 8:07 first pitch here for Game 4 tomorrow. 3-2 popped up. Will it stay in play? Ruiz and Howard in front of the Philly dugout. Ruiz is there. What a play and what a way to end game 3.